Lady Ruby. But there is a way to close the gap between us. Poetry says Mexican. You say Mexicant. Mexicant visit peacefully with each other at Friendship Park. That does not serve us. It's not spelled that way. Let's begin to amend our troubled history with you, La Migra. Let's all of us together create unity, magic, and art at La Frontera. One heart, one mind, the magic of the fresh air of freedom, and the art of flexible diplomacy over the stiffness of bureaucracy. Poet Alberto Rios wrote, "The border is mighty, but even the parting of the seas created a path, not a barrier." This poem today is about your duty tomorrow, to empower the letter and the spirit of the law, not to tell us what you've decided, but to work with our voices, our wishes, our community, as part of your policies of protection, to respect our lawfully elected current president, who ordered a stop to all border wall construction, and you refuse to revive the specter of the Berlin Wall in our land of the Americas. You help create a path of unity where we help you to protect and serve American persons, and you help us create a culture of friendship and respect that protects all humanity, all colors of skin here at the playas. President John F. Kennedy said, "When power leads man towards arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concerns, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses, like Patricia's soap."
Oh, yeah.
Consider your 30-foot border wall passive incarceration. This is the land of freedom. Somos unos, unidos. Somos unidos. Mañana la daremos la mano. Nos darás la mano. Tomorrow we'll shake hands with you. Will you shake hands with us? I say sí. You say se puede. Sí.
Se puede.
Sí.
Se puede.
Sí.
Se puede. Se puede.
Se puede.
Se puede.
Of course, it's Jimmy Ramo, and welcome to Second Sunday Jimmy Poetry. Let's take care of some housekeeping. If you would like to sign up for reading a poem on Zoom, with all except Elizabeth, she's already signed up. Then let Alfred know in the chat room that you want to read, and we'll make sure you get on the mic. Poets get 5 minutes or 2 poems. Musicians get 10 minutes or 2 songs. If you need to go to the restroom, it's right behind me on the left. And let me talk a little bit about Jimmy Collins. Jimmy Collins was the man that approached me about 2010 and said, "Let's start an open mic." And I said, "I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with all those personalities." He said, "No, brother, we're hungry for poetry community. We can do this together." And that's one of his artworks right there. He was a great painter, wonderful painter. I did a poem about him in his little Spanish village art space as he was doing some painting and working on waiting on customers. And that's one of my favorite poems. That's one of his poems. This is one of his scripts. This is a hat that resembles him. And in that meeting, these are some of the things he said to me. What we have to be about at Second Sunday is all races, all countries of origins, all sexual orientation, all genders, all abilities. So welcome. This is a place of diversity, and we welcome all of you. So that applause goes to this man, because I run this exactly the way he trained me. And we are in solidarity with a lot of social justice people, and I won't go through that right now. I would like to start with our first poet. And I would like to have this lady came to my open mic, into my poetry workshop at San Diego Writers Inc. And not only did she write some poetry that was transformational for me, I'm not sure about the other people that were there, but I'm sure that what she reads today will be very transformational for you. And hold on just a second. I got too much in the way of my list. I feel so hard. This is Anitra Carol Smith. Welcome to the microphone.
Hey, Lou, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, this is fun.
Well, I have written a poem in Espanol, in inglés. It's a perfect segue to the one that Jim read. I sure wish I could find it. It's somewhere on my hard drive. I'll bring it next time if I can.
Please.
I would have fancy ideas about bringing up my phone and having it tell me when the time is going by on the podium, but no podium. Would somebody wave at me when I have a minute left? Some kind person?
Sure, General.
I got you.
Excellent. Okay. First one is coyote or coyote. A coyote loped down our sidewalk this morning at 8 o'clock, changing the air and pulling after it bad dreams of the thigh bones of cats dropped into a circle of yipping pups. When I was reading Jim's book of revolutionary poetry, the anthology, the new one, 2 poets claimed E.E. Cummings as influences on them. Any E.E. Cummings fans out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. E.E. would not punctuate or capitalize. You're not familiar with E.E. That will help you. For E.E. Cummings, I have to fight my software to save you. Editors expose your birth name as if it matters and capitalize you to say you're dead. But you wouldn't. And it kept you clean. And nobody owns you, even now, E.E. This poem is called Pilgrim. Pilgrim. I want to know you, travel you. I want to know what you think about hummingbirds and what you daydream. What is your favorite color? What is the meal you love most? And why do you think we are here in this life? Take me by the hand and lead me into music, so together we feel the strings vibrate along our femurs, across our shoulder blades, out to the ends of our fingers and toes. Take me to your favorite places, your much loved scents from childhood, the sounds of your neighborhood street at dusk when the street lights started to go on. Seek me at your childhood table, the lace tablecloth, the scent of potatoes and onions. Introduce me to your abuela, your nana, your busha, your oma. Guide my fingers over every of your stars and tell me their story. What is the taste of you? Can I crush a fresh peach and smooth it over you, licking it away? What is your wet and dry, soft and firm, your today and tomorrow? I want to know your silky hip bone. I want to sing all over your body. I want to make you dizzy and rattled and glad. I want to feel all of you like weather against me. Most of all, I want to travel with you where you went when you were lost. We will lost, you and I, and then we will return pilgrims together. To let you choose, because I think that would be cool. So let me. In my right hand, on this hand, I have a poem called Motherhood as Oz. It is light and poignant. Couldn't think of the word poignant. That's how it starts. You get poignant and then you have a child. In this hand, I have the Rustler bar, where to my dismay, I once ended up in a cowboy bar way out on Highway 8, old Highway 8. Because I thought there was a music jam there, but nobody showed up. So you choose poignant motherhood, intense Rustler bar. How many for poignant motherhood? Looks like it's the Rustler bar.
Got a bunch of rustlers in here.
Yeah. The door is greasy and the hinges are loose from too many hands. Room for dancing, room for drinking, room for everything at the Rustler bar. And the cocktail waitress, the same trim hips in white shorts. Plenty breasts offered up like canapes in a tight red top. And closer, I felt a shock to see that she was not far behind me in years. And she spent too long explaining, just wanting to talk. And when you're still hoisting beers at the Rustler bar, is it where water goes after it spins into the drain? Or is it where you finally settle into an angle of repose?
Thank you.
I went first because I was nervous. You did amazing.
Good job.
If you think Amitra was born to read poetry, give her some love, please.
Yeah.
Nice reading voice you have. Thank you for coming. Hope you will come back more often.
I'm so nervous I have to.
So Chris Benoit and Joe Malash and I went up to Culver City last fall, and Chris was wearing a string around his neck and one of his books. And I went, oh, I've never thought about that. So I have our features book around my neck right now. And if you are interested in helping her out with some sales for her book, and I want to show you, as I, not only on the back, but can you see the highlighting I've done in orange for phrases that I thought were genius or were important or topical for right now. Plus, I love how she wrote a bilingual, binational book. And so what you can do, if you don't understand Spanish, is you go on Google /translate, and you can type in the word that you don't understand. You can see what she's talking about. And my favorite word in here was pendejas. I didn't know what that meant. And then from that word, I discovered another nickname for our 45th president. And it's Prince Pendejas. And if you look that up, it will say Prince Asshole. And so, sorry, hope there's no code of correct language going on in here. So, but I had to say that. Joe Malash is our next poet, my partner in this book, which is over on the desk. Please, if you are a poet who haven't published, or you're someone who makes soap, whatever, please, this is the author's table over here, and we promote everything in here from artist community. Jimmy Collins was all about, this isn't just for the people in the room, this is for people that are poets, this is for people who are in the arts in some form. Many roots on the art tree, visual art, dance, sculpting, poetry, creative writing, theater, music. That's why we invite musicians to come here as well. So if you would like to talk to Joe or I about the book that just took 14 months for us to give birth to, please see us after this is all over. Joe is a man who's been nominated for the Pushcart Prize more than once, several times. We do a critique group once a month with all Vietnam veteran poets, and I'm always learning from him. And if we're lucky, some of the jokes that he tells as he's reading won't be that bad tonight. This is Joe Malash. That's his grandpa's cane. That's it.
No, that's that.
Okay.
So I was thinking about since I messed up my leg and have to use a cane, I got my Irish grandfather's cane. I always thought he was like 7 feet tall, but he was only 5'7", and I'm taller than he was by that much. But I was thinking about my great grandfather because I'm third generation in this country. My great grandfather comes from Poland, and I remember he died in '63. So about 1962, we were out on the farm in the tack room oiling his harnesses for his plow horses. And he was telling me how someday the horses would return, and we wouldn't have cars anymore.
Yeah.
It's coming, But then a couple years later, I'm sitting on the couch and we're landing on the moon. He's gone. I'm thinking, wow, wonder what he would have thought. Because when he came to America, he sailed across the Atlantic. And his wife, who was pregnant 7, 8 months, she puked over the side the whole trip. I just can't imagine something going down. But that really has nothing to do with this phone. I forgot the words.
Yeah.
It's good when you read where people don't know you sometimes. Anyway. This is from my book, Walk with Breast Cancer. It's about my wife who suffered with breast cancer for 25 years before she passed away. And this is just called Landscape of a Woman and a Hummingbird. He twists his neck to catch the sun, which turns his throat to the same shade of red as the fluid in the gourd-shaped feeder. Peeling grilled tomato, she lifts her head to see him dip his beak, turn his head, and burst into shadow. As they slip through her fingers, tomato seeds become prayer beads, which seem suspended a moment before falling into her salsa. Thank you. That's it.
How about some more love for Joe Malash? Are you going to sing? Like to sing?
Okay.
You want to just come up and make the announcement now?
Okay.
Okay, this is Patricia McFadden, and she has some news for you. And maybe as she hears her voice, her really nice voice, she might even sing for you.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Patricia McFadden.
I'm with the Friends of the Malcolm X Library and Social Gym. We are having our biggest fundraiser event September 17th at the Choyas Lake Amphitheater. Have any of you ever been there?
Where's that?
The amphitheater, Choyas Lake Amphitheater. It's on September 17th from 10 to 5.
Side of the lake.
It's a free event. We're gonna have vendors. We're gonna have people perform. Have you heard of Antoinette? What's her name? She plays the harp. Antoinette.
I got the flyer,
I know. I
I
didn't
got
bring
the
the
flyer.
flyer.
but she's a really good harp player.
Yeah, she's gonna be there. We're gonna have. Come on out. The 17th is free. Okay, I'm not a politician, but I decided to just write this little song. I'm gonna have to, I don't have no music to go with it, so y'all gotta bear with me,
That's
okay?
all right.
And if we have any Trump supporters in here, too bad.
Too bad.
Okay, so.
That feels good, doesn't it? That feels real good.
Okay, it goes like this. We have Donald Trump. Okay, when I turn the mic, you can sing it with me too. Okay. We have Donald Trump. Donald Trump. He ain't the man that he claimed to be. He took my people back to 1963. Ooh, we found out that he couldn't even read, and he showed us on national TV. This is what he said. He said, Thailand is supposed to be Thailand. And he said, Yosemite is supposed to be Yosemite. Perhaps his daddy there paid for his degree. Ooh, he only cared about himself. He don't care about nobody else. We have done Trump. I said, we have done
Donald Trump.
Listen to this. He said, COVID would just go away. But COVID still here today. He said, you're not practically immune. But we found out that ain't true. Check this out. Kanye West was a bit upset. He didn't know his name was on the ballot. He was listed as the VP, the presidential candidate, Rocky. Who does that? Put people on the ballot without their consent. Is that fraud? Didn't happen pre-Trump. Now Trump has lost the presidential race. Trump has lost the presidential race. But the results he just don't want to face. The results he just don't want to face. We have Donald Trump. Donald Trump. He ain't the man that claimed to be. Donald Trump. He took my people back to 1963. Ooh, we found out that he couldn't even read, and he showed us on national TV. He said, Thailand is supposed to be Thailand. And he said, Yosemite is supposed to be Yosemite. Perhaps his daddy there paid for his degree. Ooh, he only cares about himself. He don't care about nobody else. We ain't done Donald Trump. I said, we ain't done
Donald Trump.
I said, we ain't done
Donald Trump.
I said, we ain't done Donald Trump.
Yeah.
First time I was real nervous, y'all.
Good job. Good job.
That was a lot of fun.
And she makes so.
Patricia McFadden, making, selling soap and selling good songs. Yeah, give her some more love, please.
More love.
Well, I feel good now.
Yeah, good.
Feels good. All right, everybody okay over on Zoom? Y'all okay over there? All right, Velma, are you gonna
There she
read
is.
today? All right, good, that's good. All right, cool. So, the gentleman who's behind this is sitting in the room right now. He was elected the Beat Poet of San Diego. Then he was elected the Beat Poet of California. And then he was elected the Beat Poet International. And so, if we're lucky, you remember not to ask him if he drinks decaf. This is Chris Benoit.
Good.
Yeah, good.
I recently discovered the lady who owns this house that I wrote the poem about. I wrote the poem about the girl I was going with at the time, but I thought that wasn't the girl. It's called Disenchanted Garden. The gnome at the foot of the stairs stirs herbal tea with a twig of anise, speaks of holistic remedies with a mint green smile, then hobbles back to his room, mumbling something about being late for a meeting of Jewish organic bakers. Bill crouches wearily by your door. It is you who I've come to see, you who I've climbed the moss-covered steps to find. He knows because you feed him smiles and kindness. He knows who you're hungry for. A madman, tall, lanky, seeks escape from nowhere. Trapped in the room next to yours, he rhythmically pounds upon the wall. I hear him screaming about something lost. I have forgotten why he paints the faces in his scrapbook dark blue. Andrea stays in the advent calendar pinned to the door frame. She speaks German, moans erotically at the edge of my eye as SS troopers tramp over a threshold, goose-stepping through a fully erect female condom. The sign tattooed above the moist opening reads, I will have a few friends staying in me tonight. All the doors are open now that Christmas is past. The toilet flushes. The moon replaced the sun as the zygote divides again. A small, middle-aged woman reattaches severed limbs of dolls, sews string to their loose-fitting cloth skin. She makes them dance, their frozen expressions show nothing of their pain. I find your child climbing through a hole of colored smoke rings, its umbilical cord still attached to the center of your earth. I snatched a small Voyager up, placed it beneath my coat to keep him warm, cover his ears so he will not be frightened by the jagged crash worship lyrics spilling from the audio-visual display, hot glued to a wall which breathes heavily the smells of sex. I think I have been here before. Deja vu was with me then. It was before I went to see Tomorrow off at the airport. He promised to be back by this time yesterday. I know that you're somewhere close. Both fingers curl from the pot of the stove. Burning sage squeezes my nose, cleanses the space behind my eyes where I breathe freely without government intervention. I rattle the smiling cat upon your door. He grins, then disappears. Hesitantly, I knock again, hoping that the soup of opportunity is not yet cooled. Your smile sucks me through a keyhole, covers me in kisses and chocolate. You pull carpets of grass over us. The mosh pit of our sexual frenzy reminds me of newly dug earthworms. Salty liquids grease the gristmill of my feelings. The gnome laughs silently and pushes record on the camcorder. He's found what I've come here for. Poem in progress.
war will start on Wednesday. The war will start on Wednesday after the mother sings her child to sleep. After the summer suns have bleached his auburn hair brown, and the summers turn his skin dark and tan, and filled his head with imagination and daydreams. She will leave him before the morning's light, before the shrapnel spirals whistling to the thin air, into the uncertain child who holds his mother's hand, with small, serious eyes, knowing there is danger in the dark night that follows like a hungry dog. After the tanks stream over the forest border, before the mass migration of millions of souls fleeing, after the silence of tears on a pillow, to the feelings of what the heart has left behind, a rubble of dreams. After, when the bombs will rain tornadoes of destruction in calculated patterns swiftly to the ground all around you. Before the commander said, brighten, screen, object required, brighten the screen, permission to fire granted, target acquired, after the sunny day, clouds that bloom into nuclear ash. Who will remember us then?
Did you bring any books? Did you bring any books today? So if you would like to support Chris and his poetry, please see him afterwards and get his book from him. So that's what we want to do here. Nate, have you ever been here before? Are you going to read? Would you like to read? Yeah, Nate's never been here before. This is his first time with us. Let's give him a warm second. Nate Howard.
How's everybody doing? Life, death, and the pursuit of purpose. Up and down lately, I was feeling worthless, but you helped me out. We went soul searching for the answer to my misery, but nothing's working. Who am I, far from perfect? A soul misunderstood the pain and hurt myself from lack of dream chasing, body racing, facing emotions. I rose up, I chose up, I'm finally in focus. Picture that. Visionary, extraordinary gifts. No more doubts or worries where my true potential is, but I cry myself to sleep. I'm afraid of being worthless. I'm afraid if we keep hoping for change, I'm afraid we'll still be hoping. I rose up, I chose up, I'm finally in focus. Picture that. Instagram of what I'm really smoking. A marijuana for the marathon, steady pace, I keep going back and forth from my emotions, afraid of who I am and am I really worth it? Life, death, and the pursuit of purpose. Up and down lately, I was feeling worthless, but you helped me out, we went soul searching. You helped me out, we went soul searching. I rose up, I chose up, I'm finally in focus. I am the greatest, and I know that. I'm the greatest, and I own that. Somebody help me out from going back and forth. I'm a walking contradiction. I am realistic fiction. I'm a humble narcissist. I'm a motivated pessimist. I'm black and criminal, whereas that one and the same, according to All Lives Matterverse, Black Lives Matterverse. Whose life matters? Aren't we all the same? Bunch of he say, she say, bunch of they say, we say, bunch of hoopla confusion while things never change. Victim mentalities with victim pursuits. Keynote speeches with funeral suits. If I speak, it'll kill me. They don't really want to. Because who I am is really you. What's a part of me is what's a part of you. What makes me special makes you special too. Life, death, and the pursuit of purpose. Up and down lately, I was feeling worthless, but you helped me out. We went soul searching. You helped me out. We went soul searching. I rose up. I chose up. I'm finally in focus. I am the greatest, and I know that. I am the greatest, and I own that. Somebody help me out from going back and forth. Our tombstone holds our birth date, our death date, and that little dash in between that I'm steady hanging on, trying to figure out what life really means. Will I live life to the best of me, or will I live with other people telling my story? Tell your story before they do, and truly be. It's a major accomplishment to free yourself from bondages 1865 was abolishment. 1965 was acknowledgement. By 2065, we may have a seat at the table if we catch up like a condiment. I swear brothers get used like an ottoman. They rest on ideas while we fight for our scholarships. NCAA making bank of all the college kids. We all can't make it, for the rest it's a lotto spin. If you hit the jackpot, I hope you deposited or Colin Kaepernick. More sevens is a positive. Like De Niro on Casino, green is a prerogative. Because 1 in 3 black men go to prison in a lifetime. 3 in 10,000 will make it to the NBA. And if I had a jump for every brother we lost, of course, may his jumpsuit be already made. May the odds be ever in your favor. When your family is starving, it's called the Hunger Games. That's 10,000 dreams, but only 3 can be played. For the 9,997 left, there's cops being made. You think the NBA is paying? Ask how much the prisons are getting paid. Of the ones who got caught up in the system and got backspaced away, swish. That's nothing but net income for my brothers to fade away. We master ourselves for owners, not to be frittered away. But if we master ourselves, we would own the NBA, because the poor and the mass and bottom of class is hood nigga politics. Is why I act so classical. They like my suit and tie, but only in casket. I can't breathe, Eric Garner, more shirts in action. Social media activism got the tweets just blasting. We want change, but look what happens. Change for change while brothers are dancing on corporate tables just to jump into action. Everything's appropriate when you appropriate blackness. All my old leaders dead, older just stagnant. Are you entertained or really distracted? What's a homeless child with a broken laughter? All right, y'all. How y'all doing? That's good?
Yeah.
This one is called roller coaster. How many people like roller coasters?
Oh, yeah.
And really the whole idea of this poem that's a roller coaster is that, life is ups and downs, but just put your hands in the air and enjoy it. They said, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. I called BS. The first time I learned how to play that game. And I was right. People lie the first time they get the moment to. I know. I'm only a reflection. I guess it's based off perspective. I put my hand on the Bible the minute I testified. I prayed to a God for things that only I know. Symbols only represent the true wisdom in my mind. Everything is not black and white. Everything is not this and that. I am extreme love coming from extreme pain. But that's as calm as the river. However fast or slow you see that to be. And why would it ever be measured by speed in the first place? I'm gentle, firm, steady, allowing, open, but focus on the path. This is love at its highest level. Why would I want to experience anything else? Even through the pain, I'm on the quest to find freedom. So I'm making my default to just be. Like a roller coaster, there will be ups and downs, twists and turns, but you put your hands in the air and you enjoy the moment. The ride will end soon, and then you'll stand in line for the next one.
Yeah.
Did you write it out? You wrote up.
I wrote all these things. Thank you. Sorry, let's see here. So, really, my poetry, I have an organization it's called Movement B. We help young people tell their story through poetry. And the whole message of tell your story before they do is asking who is they. So, I want to share this poem here. Anybody a parent out there?
Oh, yeah.
You a parent? Okay. So that's Malaya back there. We have a child together named Ozara. So really my poetry and my expression is now even, a poem for my daughter and really kind of having a message. And so this kind of song that I put together was for her, and really this is the base. But I really want to kind of start the base of why I started poetry. Stereotypes are a major problem in society today. Your prejudgments and false rumors conflict our world as individuals take a soul and grab it, take a soul and stab it, take a soul and trap it in the top stereo, man. Yes. Yes, I'm skinny, yes, I'm fat, yes, I'm white, yes, I'm black, yes, I'm this, yes, I'm that. No, go, because I'm the type of stereo that booms all the time. I'm the type of stereo that speaks to your mind. We all are the stereotypes to the eyes of the blind. Spacebar, I speak for new communication. Now we'll die starvation, laying the dust of cremation. We live in a world that revolves in rotation. We're too spread out. We need a combination. Learn from different brothers and sisters in conversation for different stylations, for different affiliations, for different languages, for different translations. We come from one foundation, but from different backgrounds of immigration. Plantation, seek out new information instead of using false facts. That's humiliation. So for Ozara J. Howard, for you to beat all the stereotypes, I made a wish upon a star. March 18th, do you know who you are? Ozara J. Howard, we put you in the car. We took you to the crib. We put you in the bed. You cried all night. I held you in my arms. My mind running fast. Body stay calm. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. My baby yelling now. Now my baby yelling now. The tears falling now. The pain coming out. Her mama's so strong, and her mama's so strong. That's a generation strong of a people so strong. We've been here for so long. We've been here for so long. Yo, this is a poem for my daughter. Yo, this is a poem for my seed. This is a poem for the future. This is the poem that's in me. This is a poem for my daughter. This is a poem for my seed. This is a poem in the future. This is a poem that's in me. Because I'm that type of stereo that booms all the time. I'm the type of stereo that speaks to your mind. We all are stereotypes to the eyes that are blind.
A lot of us are teachers, and I know the teachers are listening to how you blended and separated tone and rhythm and the music of each line. And so we hope you come back some more. And we really want to be aware, as we're talking about the times we live in now, there needs to be an interaction between generations. And we need to have more young people here. So you're welcome anytime. Yeah, we give them some more love, please.
There's gonna be a spoken word contest that Wednesday on the 17th.
That's right. We're having the announcement that she made at September
17th, there's a spoken word contest.
September 14th. And go to the
Friends of
Malcolm X Library website, and all that information will be on there. And does he win a car if he wins? No, there'll be no cars, but it'll be nice to have you there if you want to come and bring Henry, your lady, and your child. All right, man. So give them some more love, please. That was good stuff. Good stuff. So Elizabeth, I forgot to say that when Jimmy trained me to do this, he said, let's do something different than most open mics that have features. Let's have the poets, because we knew we had a lot of friends that were very talented. Let's have the poets warm up the room for the feature. And that's what we've just done. So he said, let's do half the poets and then we'll do the feature. So let me read something to you about Lisbeth. And again, this is her book. And if you got here by seeing my flyer, there is on the flyer, there's a place where you can order this book or her other book. And it says here, Lisbeth Coiman is a poet, educator, and cultural worker born in Venezuela. Coiman's wanderlust spirit landed her to 3 countries, from her birthplace to Canada and finally the USA, where she self-published her first book, I Asked the Blue Heron, a memoir, 2017. Her poetry and personal essays are featured in the online publication La Blaga, Entropy, Acentos Review, Lady Liberty, /literacy, Nailed, Hip Mama Magazine, Rapid Oaks, Cultural Weekly, and Resonancias Literarias, I'm sorry, siento mucho. In print media, Spectrum, V.16, the Altadena Literary Review and Accolades, a women who submit anthology. She's an avid hiker and teacher of English as a second language. She lives in Los Angeles. And I'm just, we met her up in LA at a meeting of poets who were, you know, talking about their books. She gave me this, so I had to give her one of my books. And so not only is she a talented poet, she's a very, very generous woman. And please welcome Lisbeth Coiman. She'll have 25 minutes.
Thank you all. I put on the, can you hear me in the delay again?
We can hear you.
Okay, so I wrote on my timeline, I'm not a grandma yet. Because you introduced me first as the most beautiful grandmother. So I wrote here, I'm not a grandma yet. Thank you very much, Jim, for inviting me. I'm very happy we met at Culver City. Food Fair, and I am delighted to be invited in San Diego. I hear myself with an echo, so I don't know how to. I hear myself with an echo, so I don't know how to. A very strong echo.
Elizabeth, there's just some kind of delay going on, but just go ahead and present your point.
Try turning off your speakers because we can hear you.
I don't have any speakers.
You don't have any. How are you listening to us?
And on my computer.
Can you turn off the volume on your audio and then you, turn it back up after you're done, and that way you won't get the feedback.
Turn down the volume and then what? Turn down the volume and then what?
Turn the volume down on your speakers so you're not getting the feedback, and then after you finish with your poem, turn the speakers back up on your computer. You could try that.
Hear better? Okay. Hear better? If I read, you hear me?
Yeah, we'll still be able to hear you. You just won't hear yourself. So then you won't get the feedback.
No, the problem is not that I don't hear myself. The problem is that I hear myself twice. And I hear myself with a delay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to do about it because there's something on your end. It's something, the only thing I can think of is to shut everything down, restart, and come back in.
Yes, that's the only thing.
You want to try that? You want to try restarting it? Why don't you restart your computer and I'll let you back into the session and you can start then.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Jim, do you want to have somebody else? Jim, do you have somebody else read while she's going to restart her computer because whatever problem she's having is on her end.
Okay.
So we can have another poet while we're waiting for her.
Okay, yeah, does everybody get that? We're having some problems and our award-winning movie maker and electronics genius is gonna fix her up. And so what we're gonna do now is we'll go ahead and have
Jim,
another poet.
Jim, Velma wants to read.
And so what we're gonna do is have my sister Velma. She will go ahead and read. And Velma, how would you like me to introduce you? I know you do a lot of social work. And I know that you like to go to the people of color retreats up at Deer Park, the Buddhist retreats. Anything else you think people should know about you besides your poetry?
Well, I not really. I just want to read. I don't have
really, I just want to read. I don't have any.
Okay, but you have 2 points or 5 minutes?
I will add one more thing. I may call.
Velma, let me ask you a question. Do you have another device open? Do you have 2 devices open? That
Do
might
we
be
have
the
2 devices open?
That might be the.
No.
Velma, do you have a computer
No.
and a telephone open on the screen?
Computer and a telephone open on the screen.
I do have a
No.
computer. Should I
I
turn?
do have a computer. Should I turn?
But I'm not.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's the problem.
I don't know why the connection is so bad today, but it's just, we do it every
Velma,
same way
if you
every
have
week.
two,
I don't know
Velma,
why.
if you have 2 devices open, please close
You have
one.
2 devices open, please close one.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Do I need to turn my computer off?
Do I need to turn my computer off?
I don't know what's causing the feedback, so. my
Somebody has
suggestion-
2 devices open.
Somebody has 2 devices open.
Do you have your phone on?
My suggestion would be for her to turn on her camera and just for us to listen to her.
That's what I told her. And she
Okay.
didn't.
So are you telling Velma to turn her video off?
Well, yeah, to turn the,
Velma has 2
Turn your
devices.
video.
Velma has 2 devices open.
So Velma, turn your video off and we'll just listen to you and we won't see you.
Okay. All right. So let me also turn my computer off.
Little camera bottom left of your screen.
I don't think it's gonna make any difference.
Okay, and let me see if I can.
Okay,
I'm
let
going
me
to
see if
also.
I'm going to also.
All right. So am I still having an echo?
All right, so am I still having an echo?
You're good.
I am. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video.
Fine. So I'm gonna stop the video.
Just turn one.
Do I still have an echo?
Yes.
Do I still have an echo?
You're good.
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
We can hear you just
Yes.
fine though.
Okay, so let me just
I
read
don't
the.
think
Okay, so let me just.
Elizabeth can hear you well, but we can hear you.
Okay, good. So let me just read the
Okay,
poem.
good. So let me just read the poem.
Okay, I wrote it one that I really wanted to read, but
Okay,
I'm
wanted to read,
Oh,
but
shit.
I'm
You okay?
not sure.
sure
It's
Uh,
punctured
You okay, Trevor?
it functions
because one of the lines is taken from a
one
line
of
by
the lines is taken from a line by
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay, so now if someone
Okay,
wants to
so now
correct me,
if someone wants to correct me,
then
What do you need?
then
okay, so I'm going to read now.
okay, so I'm gonna read now.
Okay.
Call me by my true name.
Call me by my true name.
Unkindness, kindness.
Unkindness, kindness.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
One is up, the other down.
One is up, the other down.
Call me by my true name. Call me by my true name. The accuser and the accused. The accuser and the accused. Point the finger of disdain. Point the finger of disdain. At each other assigning blame. At each other assigning blame. Yet when I saw suffering. Yet when I saw suffering. I turned my head. I turned my head. I drove the homeless. I drove the homeless. Out from their stead. From their stead. When it came too close. When it came too close. Call me by my true name. Call me by my true name. They clamor for the president-elect. They clamor for the president-elect. To step down. To step down. To stem the wave of greed and stem the wave of greed and I said corporate violence. Corporate violence. Asking how might we proceed? Asking how might we proceed? In seeking to correct the malady. Correct the malady. We strive for a balanced. We strive for a balanced view. View. Looking through the rear view mirror. Looking through the rear view mirror. We see greed, violence, and division. Division. No division. No division. It's no different, only by degree. It's no different, only by degree. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Call me by my true name. It's the point from where we start. To really see the one standing next to us, then ask ourselves, how can we open our hearts? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about the.
Okay, how about some more about Roma? This is you learned today you have to be careful of me if you're near this stage, because the microphone can hit you on your drink. So Trisha is okay though, that's good. So we're gonna go with our feature now, and Lisbeth, we love you, and you have 25 minutes to do your magic. Please go ahead and read.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be invited to San Diego. I really appreciate Jim for the invitation. And I'd like to begin by saying that while we focus on efforts to support Ukraine in this moment of despair in front of the invasion, I like to remind the audience that there are about 50 countries around the world at the moment in armed conflict with outside or within their borders. There are countries like Suriname or Yemen that have been practically invaded by more powerful opponents. And there are countries like my homeland, Venezuela, that are in an ongoing battle, in our case, for 23 years for freedom in front of an imposter that runs the country with the administrative model of a narco cartel. for those who are on the streets of my country fighting for freedom. This is the shield. Escudo. Una mujer alegre y bravía me construyó para proteger a los más jóvenes, aquellos a los bordes de este abismo. Me talló en madera para honrar la crucifixión. Me bañó con el oro abundante bajo sus pies e improvisó un asidero con hebillas usadas para que se agarraran durante el temblor de la batalla. Su ingenio brilla en las humildes tapas de basura, las patinetas urbanas protegiendo a su prole en la guerra contra el impostor. Los vientos cálidos del Caribe secan la sangre que mancha mi rostro. La patineta rueda calle abajo. Una cabeza se abre como un coco en la acera. La tapa del basurero hace un escándalo metálico al caer sobre el asfalto. Mantengo mi posición, mi cuerpo tiembla bajo la fuerza de las balas. Perdigones de goma marcan los ojos con un futuro oscuro. Tormenta de gases lacrimógenos llueve sobre sus hijos. The shield. A festive and brave woman, she built me to protect her youngest at the edge of the abyss. She carved me from wood to honor the crucifixion, covered me with the gold abundant under her feet, crafted an anchor for the battle from worn belt buckles. Her ingenuity shines on the humble lids of garbage bins and the urban skateboards, shielding her offspring in the battle against the impostor. The warm winds of the Caribbean dry the blood on my face. The skateboard falls down the hill ahead, cracks against barricade. The lid rattles on the ground when it falls. I hold my place, my body shaking against ammunition. Father poke more eyes with the dark future. Gas storms over her feet. Belma, can you please close the second computer? It's
off. It's off.
It had gone for a while. Come back.
Shut it down completely. Oh,
Shut it down completely.
yeah, let me let me see. I do have a
It's better now.
Now, let me see, I
Is
do
it-
have is it,
okay, hold on. Let me just
okay, hold on. Let me just,
I have a computer. I work from home, so I forgot about it.
I work from home, so I forgot about it.
Shut it off. Okay, so it's completely.
Shut it off. Okay, so completely.
There's nothing on now, no other computers.
There's nothing on now, no other computers.
Okay, I'm going on.
Okay, I'm
El
going on.
Guaire. Beberán agua del Guaire. Hugo Chávez,
Agua del Guaire. Hugo Chávez.
2006. Before I was born, a pristine future streamed down from the Avila tributary into El Guaire. Families lounge at shores, safe in Southeast pastoral landscape of a small and barrel city. Pride for constant first source of energy in the continent, unplanned growth and expansion of 167 square miles city lacking sanitation. Applause for canals draining sewage into the river prone to flooding. The beginning of entropy turned to gestures of the past. Oil boom of the 70s, Caraqueños covered hills, creating cloud and stagnating traffic. El Guaire converted into a torrent of human and industrial waste. Late Jurassic rocks are only reminders of the river's splendor. Who needed clean water, oil revenues, a constant flow down the street, infrastructure projects celebrated with cocktails of corrupt allocators and nepotism. He who drank the blood of tigers in the gardens of the presidential palace to secure passage into eternity, promised to clean the sewage, return to its pristine patch, and the red steeple class. Vulnerable protesters jump into El Guaire to escape tear gas. The promise has been delivered. People are bathing in El Guaire. On social media, only reliable news from my dystopian homeland, El Guaire miners go underwater to recover decomposed metals to trade for food. Hundreds of citizens slide down the sewage, carrying plastic containers, their thirst to the waste of a country gone awry. Can't hear it. Amy. Jim, can you mute Velma, please? I can hardly hear myself.
She's muted.
Muted?
She's muted. She's muted.
I don't know where is this coming from.
It's coming. It's a bad connection. Somehow, for some reason,
Very bad.
there's just a
can't.
serious delay. So I'm not sure what to do. It's nothing on
It
our
work
end.
better if I put
There's a
if
delay,
I
but when you start reading, it's good.
take better if I stop the video.
Try it. Let's see.
Okay. I still hear myself quite a bit.
It's on your end.
Okay. A voice in the dark. I do not remember the silence of those who left me alone. I will remember the voices that held my hand in the dark and whispered, I'm here with you. Alzamiento. Uprising. This is the title of the book. Uprising, a revolt, an insurrection, to stand up and rise into view. A human river flats, Avenida Libertadora. Pubescent bodies shake behind makeshift shields and masks, plastic bottles and rags. A violinist and a ballerina perform in front of their own vehicle. After the musician is captured, his face is unrecognizable. A young woman offers a flower to the line of while the solid abuela stands in the way of a moving tent. Emaciated souls march, border crosses, rivers swelling with descent and desertion. 3. On an improvised stage, an unquavering man's stands up defiant and takes the oath in front of his Voices rise to describe new dystopia in 100 languages. Keyboard warriors treat the sorrow of a woman carrying the ink body of her teenage daughter. Bloggers comment on serious lining up for a reparation of rats and added bugs protein. Journalists report of nocturnal dances around currency bonfires. Arresantera restos oxmoron of an old rich country without gasoline. Spring is the silhouette of two men currently marked by chain bracelets around their eyes hold the images of soulful, dark isolation. Eyes retreat the bright future of a nation slow climbing upward low freedom. Thank you. When I read this in Spanish, how many Spanish speakers are in the room?
We had 2 hands go up.
Okay.
3 hands.
Okay. Hands, okay. De mujer a mujer.
De mujer a mujer.
Mujer, te hablo sin pelos en la lengua, sin una gaveta donde guardar verdades. Aplica este mojito. Tómate un trago. Joven, atractiva, educada e inmensamente rica. Es otra cosa que una pobre incauta. En cuanta trampa te han tenido, te mueven como marioneta y tampoco abres la puerta, te golpean, te secuestran, te matan de mente. No para disfrutar tu cuerpo, por si estás bien bueno. Lo que quieren es vivir de tu espalda, maldito. Dilapidando su está fuerte el mojito. Toma con calma, mujer, te quiero alerta, no quitan los ojos. Ah, ya ves dónde te llegó con su labia, una hará comiendo del camión de basura, arrojándote así a diestra y siniestra por una limosna para alimentar tu prole. Es que no puedo ver tanto niño muriendo de hambre. Y mira al alcahuete. Dice que te defenderá mientras esta bandera no la tuya, sino la de tus amigos. Su avión privado, sus vestidos dignos de ricos. ¿De dónde quieren que salieron? De tiendas a domicilios de productos adorados. Su bandera está escondida detrás de una bandera caduca. Cada vez que un nuevo rufián llega a tu puerta con tu oreja, vuelves a caer con el mismo truco y los peces. Con el sueño pesado todavía sobre los párpados, los curiosos se detienen a observar tu jugada. Reina, deja de ser tan pendeja. Reúne a tus ojos, a tus hijos. Reunirás a tus niñas. Qué audio tan malo. Peor audio. No sé cómo hacer. No mejoro. Hello?
Hello, we're here.
We're here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna read this in English and in Spanish. How many of you like baseball?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it better now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I can hear myself better now. I don't hear the echo anymore. Somebody did something. Okay. So I'm gonna read this in Spanish and in English and Spanish. So in Venezuela, I don't know how you say here in English, when you have like an impromptu game, a sport on the streets, like the children in the neighborhood or the young people in the neighborhood, you may call it skirmishes. Sometimes you play, I think it's 3-on-1 on the street when you play basketball. So in Venezuela, we play baseball on the streets, right? And we call that caimanera. But I'm gonna read it in English first, so you have the reference. When you wonder where the baseball players go when the season is over, they play winter ball in Venezuela. They used to do that. They don't do it anymore, but they used to do that when I was young. In this field, the young men of the community learned the strategy of our beloved pastime. The pitcher fidgets with the red ridges, feels the smooth white leather yielding to his digits, communicates with the catcher squatting behind home. He interprets the silent signals of the defense. A mixed breed of hitters, aggressive or patient, fill the bases while others sacrifice to advance peers from tree to tree. Stealers take the second and occasional third. Little das, Chavista tenía que ser ese ladrón. The outfielder may see no action, fall asleep at the job, or catch the occasional home run with bare hands, closing the inning, keeping the feeling of that folding ball in his hands for far too long. In the next inning, a pulled hitter sends a fly to La Vieja Periche's porch. Perched like a hunting cat on her chair, quickly takes the ball and closes the door. No begging or protest is enough to warm her eyes, chest, and return the ball. The game is postponed. The game is postponed. When it resumes another hot afternoon, the score is kept in mind because now it is more. Frustrated, the opposing team promises to square the third base. The loser must take a chicken from La Vieja Periche's yard for the sancocho that will later be cooked in the hills. A home runner with medium speed requires a designated runner to jump over the concrete walkway, touch the tree trunks, slide home short of the slamming net against curb. The street of out emerges from the sidewalk, goes for a double play, fill the air. Thick with the overpowering hum of the cicadas that happen in the field, this moves this generation's character. This is how the war ends, with the stars of the game. A long lineage of fielders, shortstops born in this neighborhood, team players who coordinate, hustle, defend, even with deceit, if necessary. A once bound throw to first or third for a spectacular triple play. He's out, game over. Let's kill that chicken and celebrate. Okay, how are we doing on time?
Okay, how are we doing on time?
Got 5 more minutes.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So during the pandemic,
So,
we lost a lot of
during the
people, and
pandemic,
some of
we lost
us
a lot of people,
and some of us lost people in other
some of us
countries,
lost
and
people
we couldn't
in
go,
other countries.
couldn't go to say our
Couldn't go-
goodbye.
Couldn't go to say our goodbye.
Situación de inmigración, luto.
Situación de inmigración, luto.
Humanidad extraviada en un dossier.
Humanidad
certificados
extraviada en un
de
dossier.
solicitudes y aranceles
Solicitudes
sin
y
papeles para el luto.
sin papeles para el luto.
Sin la terapia de un funeral, 2
La
metros bajo,
terapia de un funeral,
vestida de negro junto a un ataúd, aflicción eterna, duelo en la distancia, no hay distancia para el luto.
No hay distancia para el luto.
Immigration status grieving.
Immigration status grieving.
Humanity lost in the dossier, documents of
Lost in the dos-
applications and
documents of-
fees, pero sin papeles para el luto.
pero sin
Without a
papeles para-
therapy of a funeral,
without a
no
therapy
6
of a
feet
funeral,
burials,
no 6
dressed in
feet
black,
burial,
next to a casket, mourning forever,
next to a
grieving
casket,
at a distance.
mourning forever.
No visas for grieving.
No visas for grieving.
And last, also in Spanish and English, this is for immigrants.
This is for immigrant.
Arboleda Banyan,
Arboleda Banyan.
en el Jardín Botánico de la Costa Sur, Península de Palos Verdes, Condado de Los Ángeles.
Sur, Península de Palos Verdes, Condado de Los Ángeles.
La higuera maciza de la Bahía Moretón,
La higuera
erigida
maciza
al
de la
centro
Bahía
de este
Moretón,
sistema de
erigida
raíces
al centro de este sistema
superficiales
de raíces
construido por el crece rápido, robusta, desplazada en una tierra extranjera, cada año autosuficiente, confinado por la carretera a su alrededor, como tan lejos de la sombra del bosque, siempre incómodos. Calles señalizadas limitan nuestra expansión y sin embargo nos apoyamos unos a otros, prosperamos. In English now. Banyan Grove, South Coastal Botanic Garden, Palos Verdes Peninsula, LA County. The massive Moreton Bay fig tree stands at the center of this man-made system of superficial roots, growing fast, robust, displaced in a foreign land. Each tree holds its place contained within the boundaries of the roads around them, like us, so far away from the shade of the forest, always uncomfortable, marked streets limiting our expansion, yet we hold each other, thrive. Thank you very much.
Elizabeth, I'd like to, I got distracted for a while, but did you read Freedom to Write on page 46 at all today? If you haven't, would you read that as your last point, please? Freedom to Write on page 46. Because, you know, did you read that one?
You got it? Yeah, I got it. You got it in English or in Spanish?
You got it, yeah, I got it. You got it in English or in Spanish?
I got it in both, and it's your book.
Yes, I know, but do you
You
want
read
it?
in Spanish too. The
Yes,
reason-
I know, but do you want it?
If you want to read it in both, that's fine, but I was thinking about English, but if you want to read it in
Okay.
both languages, please do. And the reason I'm asking you to read this, in South America and Central America, the people from those places consider themselves American, South America, Central America. And so that's what I think needs to happen, that when we say we're Americans, we say on the reservation, we would say we're from Turtle Island. That's the name for this land. And so that's why I'd like you to read this, because this is a poem for all Americans, Central, North, and South Americans.
Freedom to write? Freedom to write?
Yes, ma'am.
Freedom to write. To raise my voice through the bars of my own prison. Feel a violence of plans, paying for the luxury of writing while living in LA. Eyes heavy on keyboard, adding pectin to this thick jam of prices and Ferraris. Prison with jacaranda flowers, slowing my pace through the traps, abandoning this jungle mire slash algorithm to speak for those who can descend by my stern, my own freedom.
Did you want to read that in Spanish too,
Yes.
please?
Yes. Libertad de expresión. Levantar mi voz desde esta prisión con barras de contenido programático, planificación de opciones para pagar por el lujo de escribir mientras vivo en Los Ángeles. Ojos pesados sobre el teclado, el cuello de la botella de Ferraris y Princes decorados con flores de jacaranda, desacelera el paso a través de las trampas abundantes en esta jungla, minada de los pantanales de algoritmos para hablar de ellos sin libertad de expresión. Debo ganarme mi propia libertad.
That's Lisbeth. Can we give her some love, please? Interesting, she signed her book to me, Jim, Let's Protect Our Fragile Democracy. That sounds like you're an American too. So can we give her some more love, please? If you would like to purchase her book, go to finishinglinepress.com or amazon.com. Her book is Uprising and Alzamiento. Lisbeth Coiman. Thank you very so much.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to be here. I'm very sorry the audio didn't help.
Well, we muscled through it, and when Alfred's here, not much can go wrong. That's all I got to say. Thank you for, can we give Alfred some love, please? Helping us with this Zoom. He had a 4-hour show of his films yesterday, and when he closes his eyes when he's with us today, it is earned. Thank you for coming when you're so tired. Thank you so much. And also about Alfred, if you are interested in having a website, he has constructed 2 of those for myself. He's tutoring Joe Malash and I on doing a podcast. And so he's a very talented young man. That's Alfred Williams right there to my left. So we're gonna move right on, and I'm gonna invite a friend of mine who has performed with me. She is always performing with the Revolutionary Poets Brigade, which is a bunch of us from Mexico and from this side of the border, and we perform social justice poems. She's a professor at San Diego State University, and I just every time that I hear her poetry or I perform with her, I feel like something changes in me. I get to know more of myself. So this is a very talented poet, and so please welcome Dolores Fisher.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hi, and thank you to our feature. Let's have a round of applause again. Thank you so very much. We have the honor here of having many people who are published. And Janice Elper is one of my favorite poets. So I'd like to read two of her poems, if I might, today. This is from her book, Words Bursting in Ink. The first poem, Love Has a Taste and a Tear. Hands joined as segments in an orange, separated gently with love. New blossoms, young, innocent, buds and bloom burst into full life. Grow, emerge independent, become sustenance for others, like milk and honey and bread. Seasons change, the fruit is gone. Once more alone together, joined by a clump of grapes that you set out to conquer the world again. Thorny, prickly, calloused by life lessons, joyously symbiotic partners. One day, a weed invades, cancer. Like Kudrow grows inside you. You say all you have to say, and finally say goodbye. Love has a taste and a tear, sweet as a fresh peach, bitter as lemon, tears like dewdrops, knowing the fruits of our life together will never fade away when seasons change.
Yeah.
Last poem by Janice. Give me a song. The melody repeats and repeats in my head like tapping rain on a window. Sing me a song not long ago. Children were free to run and disappear until dinner time. Sing me a song when we were one with our neighbors. Pay no mind to the color of their skin, the shape of their eyes. We smelled their cooking, broke bread with them, celebrated with them. Give me a song to remind me we're all the same inside, with the same dreams. So as we burst from soft cocoons into butterflies and delight in small successes, you're a child taking first steps. Give me a song of innocence, each day a wonder. Imagination has no limits, rainbows fill the skies, and a pot of gold gushes over the brim with love, kindness, soft caresses. Sing for me a new song, a song of love and peace. Join me in song. Sing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dolores. Let's give her some more love, please.
Yeah.
I'm my 45th birthday, I went over to Java Joe's at Ocean Beach, and I asked a whole bunch of my friends to go. And there was a fellow named Chris Vanoy that was there that night. And as he was reading his poetry, people were shouting out lines from his poems because he'd been doing it for a while. And I was so intimidated. And finally, one of the lady friends that was there with me said, "Are you going to go up there and read? I got to go to work in the morning." And it was 1,000 miles to this microphone from probably, where Dolores is sitting right now, to walk up to Java Joe's. And I was just scared to death. And everyone clapped, and then I was fine after that. And so what I'm hoping, because we're going to be putting this on Zoom, I'm hoping it helps Lisbeth with her books. I hope it helps the space bar. I hope people will come here and have the good food that's here and the ambiance that we have, that we share together, the trust that we have for each other. But I mostly hope that someone who is a beginning poet that might be watching this, Alfred will be saving it and putting on preparing it for YouTube. I hope a beginning poet that is hearing this knows that we all started like you. We were all terrified of this microphone. We were all intimidated by being in front of an audience. But the people that come up on this microphone, that come to this open mic, even young Nates, we're practiced. That's the difference between us and you. We're practiced. So come down to the space bar the second Sunday of each month. Meet a man who's a genius with electronics, who's a filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker who can help you with, if you're struggling with some of the stuff like, well, you saw us struggle today. Come down to the space bar on the second Sunday and meet the poets and talk to them about what are their inspirations. That's what we do when we're all done with poetry. We hang out. Although today there'll be another open mic after this one, and I hope that some of you will also stay for that. But come down to the space bar, and you get to meet someone from Venezuela who's an American and wants to protect our fragile democracy. And I don't see a lot of that kind of stuff happening on CNN and some other, definitely not on Fox. Okay. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, and now I'm going to introduce my neighbor. And he asked me to introduce him in a certain way today, not to talk about some things I usually talk about. Michael Turner has been volunteering with AIDS Well Services since 2004. Michael helps with Poetry Party, Poetic Legacy, Self-Expression Art, and serving seniors. Michael is best known for making a mean pot of coffee and putting a smile on everyone's face. The time and energy that Michael puts in each week allows our programs to run smoothly and our participants to leave happy. Thank you for all that you do, Michael. Age well, appreciate your hard work. And he also has a wife who, if she was here right now, this whole room would be full of green because she has a green thumb. When I walk by plants, they shudder. This is Michael Turner.
Michael.
Sorry. No, that's good idea.
Got it?
Yeah. Occupies a whirling rock. I stand to occupy the whole wide world around me as far as I can reach, provoking creativity fearlessly in all directions, all at once, and love every minute of it in a vibratory sense. To live an enchanted life full of magic, the creative force sustains me and everyone around me. We share our stories and touch as many people as we can, riding on this whirling rock made from the dust of stars. Let that little light shine on, make a difference, occupy a worldwide spring in whatever season we find to be awakened in. Becoming luminous pulsars, searching for connections to explore a cosmology of that of where our origins come from, in a mystical way that we've created, recreating ourselves, or how energy flows.
Yeah.
My second and my last poem. Turner's Shipwreck. Turner's Shipwreck. Those of you who have wept with sorrow or cry for vision, life can become weightless. You can fill it up without deviation in front of oncoming traffic. Having discovered who you truly are, your natural ability has a sort of naked awareness that's independent of space and time. It's like putting a note into a bottle thrown overboard and how it survives the worst of storms. When found, becomes a form of transcendence. Having become self-aware, you forecast your exit, way down below the sky, over the land, then out to sea, amazed at your own migration into a new world of standard deviations that you yourself belong in, as you see and feel the things that can't be taught. Beyond the horizon, where the vanishing point finds noble humility, bound for a safe harbor and more solitude.
Yeah. Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael's in the book, Dolores is in the book, Chris is in the book, I'm in the book, Joe's in the book. And we are wanting you to know that the proceeds from this book, after the publisher recovers all of his costs for publishing this book, goes to the Border Angels and to the Binational Friendship Garden. We're not making any money off this book, Joe and I. We wanted to contribute to supporting or funding these two organizations that are trying to make the border a place of friendship and not of militarization. We think we increase the safety at our borders when we have friendship there, respect, dignity, rather than militarization that's been going on now. So we have some for sale over there. So see us after this is all over. And we're gonna go continue on with our next poet. And Alistair, are you ready?
Yes,
So let's welcome Alistair to the mic.
There's already been some hymns to poetry, but I just want to add this because this is where I come from. Where there is poetry, there is hope. Where there is poetry, there is heart. Where there is poetry, there is courage. Where there is poetry, there is honor. Where there is poetry, there is truth. Where there is poetry, there is hope.
Yes.
I always like to pass on remarkable things that I discovered. This book, a big fat book. It's not something you're going to pick up and read in the afternoon. It's called The Ministry for the Future. And it is about climate change. What has to happen if we're actually going to do it. This man, Kim Stanley Robinson, knows more than any single human being ought to possibly know. He is encyclopedic about the economics, the physics, and the sociology and the moral questions that we have to face if we're really going to deal with this. He deals with things like, is assassination justified if it's the only way to protect the children of the future? It's heavy stuff. But I just want to recommend this book to you. I've never seen anything like it. As one of the colored things says, the best science fiction, non-fiction novel I've ever read. So, something I want to thank. How many of you know Lucinda Williams?
No? Okay, good. This is a song that she wrote. Let's see if I can get started, all right? If we live in a world without tears, how would bruises find the face to lie upon? How would scars find skin to etch themselves into? How would broken find the bones? If we live in a world without tears, how would heartbeats know when to stop? How would blood know which body to throw outside of? How would bullets find the guns? If we live in a world without tears, how would misery know which back door to walk through? How would trouble know which mind to live inside of? How would sorrow find a home? If we live in a world without tears, how would bruises find the face to lie upon? How would scars find skin to etch themselves into? How would broken find the bones? How would broken find the bones? There's an album titled A World Without Tears. It's not a new album, but she's a great woman, lyricist, singer. She has a really good backup band. They just must record this one.
Thank you, Alice.
That's Alistair. Can we show him some more love, please? Singers, we have two singers today. That's never had two singers before. That's really cool. So, Chris Ernest Nelson is someone who's good for my soul, and not only because of his reading voice, which, as you'll hear, is very, very appropriate for here, but the posts that he does on the internet are always uplifting and always reminding us it's really important not to give up hope, that everything is not lost. This is Chris Ernest Nelson.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Lisbeth. Enjoyed your work immensely. It's good to see you here. Poetry is a magic language. Yes. I am Chris Ernest Nelson, and this is my most recent poem, The Work Must Stand Alone. This child is unable to sleep alone in his too dark room. Is he afraid to cry out to the shifting shadows? He will never know. Will he ever understand the obscure meaning in the incoherent voices that wander in, lost from another room? Is it rage or merriment he hears in muffled groans through opaque walls? Or is there an obscene rhythm of veiled passion? He knows there is no one to trust with his question. The answers come back in empty echoes, and all the reasons are denied by God. His thoughts are suspect. They arrive with burdens of confusion and fantasy. His thoughts are ghosts. They flee at first light. To what does genius amount when profound revelations and eager thoughts come and go in the cluttered halls of his mind and remain impotent and mute? His world is a desert landscape, his gallery bare. Thoughts may generate, but only deeds create. His every thought will fade away. The work must stand alone.
Yes.
Carry it all to the altar. Life is a gathering together of thoughts and feelings. The longings, the waitings, the voices, the touches, the casual greetings, and the grinding goodbyes. Nothing is wasted. Everything is accounted and saved. I carry it all to the altar. I make a sacrifice of tears. I make a sacrifice of desires. I make a blood sacrifice. Every day I count my misdeeds and my triumphs in an excess moment of contrition and celebration. I know everything has happened according to plan. I know all my days have served this sacred purpose. I carry it all to the altar. I make a sacrifice of song. I make a sacrifice of laughter. I make a willing sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it. How about some love for Chris? Some people tell me that you save the best for last at a reading or a lecture or whatever it might be. And you have to admit the last 3 or 4 poets had no weakness, definitely no weakness at all. And this next poet that we have so much respect for him. He goes to the Sundance every year and he comes back and supports that. When I think about him, I think about home I'll say, which is Lakota Sioux, and it's a phrase that basically means that he's my brother, and it also means that you're my brothers and sisters in poetry. When he features, you might be aware of how he can play the guitar and he can sing, or how he's going to do a really strong poetry that comes right from his heart. This is Jack Stewart Smith.
Jack.
Thank you, Jim. That's amazing. And in a lot of the groups I go to, I would say my relatives. Here and pretty much everywhere we go with poetry, it's my family. So hello, family. We are family. I love you all. I love you all. And this is the sacrament. May this day be a holy day, a day of honor, a hallowed time to honor this our home, this earth. Time to move slow, observe nature, making every effort to connect. Ignoring for a few precious moments the noise, the news, the exciting thrills, the disasters, the action and romance, all man-made diversions. Keys turned to off, stopping the commotion, listening. Just wait in a second now. Listen. Try. May we just try to listen. All want to fit together as one. Nothing separate, all as oneness. Spirit-filled, inanimate, and vibrantly alive. The one great exception being man-made things that have no voice. Excepting for those elements,
they're made of. Thus, while ignoring clatter from man-made machinery and listening to those elements, a message will be told. Equally, everything in nature, magnificent, speaking as amazing truths are revealed. This is the rule when listening becomes a practice. Stones and rocks, four-leggeds, and those that fly, those that swim, trees and grass, rain clouds, humans, spirits, roaches, stars, all speaking, all repeating one divine message. If just one thing in nature is allowed to speak to our willing ears, its essence will be known. Just one voice or 10 million, all in agreement. I heard the voice of a tall willow, and it gently whispered, all is love. I looked into the eyes of a sad child. Her tears filled my heart. Where is love? I held a smooth pebble in my palm. Its energy emitting, love never dies. Moments taken in kindnesses, precious, everlasting grace. Ceremonies to honor the energies of oneness, of unity, of love. The sacrament.
Yes, yes.
We're losing our way. Children, stay close by, please. The familiar paths have all but eroded. It's so very hard to visualize those walkways now. They've all but vanished, and it's impossible to imagine where they used to be. These days, there are new roads that have recently been paved, completely erasing every sign of those past ways that were our guides so many years before. Smoother roads seem quite fast and easy, but there's new dangers with them as well. Children, please listen to this wisdom. Remember your elders. They will not remain in this world forever. Take a few moments and ask them to teach you how priceless to learn from their kind words. Different days are fast approaching. Soon, you will be trying on those elders' sacred shoes. Thank you.
Bravo.
Jack Stewart Smith, thank you for coming.
Oh, we've spent another Sunday afternoon together, and it hasn't wasted my time. Hope it hasn't wasted yours. I want to say we'll be back here next month. Can we give some love to Lisbeth Coiman, please? Our teacher. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you get to see you up in LA sometime.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And please, would you just remind everybody about how to order your book? What's the
Yes,
website?
you can order my books. There are two books, actually. You can order my books. I asked the Blue Heron, or, sorry, Uprising, Alzamiento. You can order them at lisbethcoiman.com directly from my website, and I ship from Lakewood, California. This is just 2 hours north of you. My website is just like you see it on the label in the Zoom. One word, lisbethcoiman.com, and you can order it directly. You click on the label on the tab books, and you can order it directly from there. And you can also order up from Finishing Line Press. You can order Uprising Alzamientos. and from finishinglinepress.com. That's it. I am honored and very happy to have met you, and I'm very grateful that because of you, I can reach the San Diego audience. And I hope you like my poetry, and I hope you guys understand that we are all responsible for defending democracy. We can lose it anytime, like we lost it in our country. We can lose it to a communist regime, and we can lose it to a right-wing regime. Because when democracy doesn't know ideologies, we have to defend it for what it is: freedom, not for ideological stances. That's my message.
Elizabeth Coiman, thank you for coming. Let's say Bendigo.
Gracias.
Well, this is how you have touched me today. This is, I'm going to do 2 poems, a short one by Pablo Neruda from Chile, one of 6 Latino poets who have won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And this is called Poetry. And it was at that age, poetry arrived in search of me. I don't know where it came from winter or a river. I don't know how or when. No, they were not voices, they were not words, nor silence. But from a street I was summoned, from the branches of night, abruptly from the others, among violent fires, or returning alone. There I was without a face, and it touched me.
Yeah.
Please remember the Friends of Malcolm X Library are having an event in September. What's my date? Again?
September 17th.
September 17th at Choice Lake.
At the amphitheater. The Choice Lake Amphitheater.
The Choice Lake Amphitheater. There's going to be a poetry contest for young ones. There's going to be food vendors. There's going to be a whole bunch of activities for the families. If you've never been to Choice Lake, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And what's really nice, as you're walking to where the amphitheater is, it's the first parking lot on the top of the hill. You'll see tracks that are like in the cement. And some of those tracks are like mule deer, some of them are coyote, some of them are like a wildcat or a bobcat. And what they did was they put those prints in the cement when it was wet, so that you would remember. And then there's a sign when you get towards the amphitheater that says, those prints are about who frequents this area when we're not here. It's really, really nice. And so, and please remember, go to jimpoet.com if you're interested in buying the book. We have the book here today. It was published 2 weeks ago. With Joe and I we had 3 proofings that the publisher made us go through. We divided the poets up. He took 10, I took 10. And each time we had to read through all the poems again. And I think we each fell in love with the book. So we hope that you will support Border Angels and the Binational Friendship Park and get our book. So we're going to end the poem, the poetry today with this poem. It's called If Darkness Prays. And this is one of my new ones. A prayer is a gift, a petition, a gratitude. It matters to the degree the petitioner is lost or found. Consider what happens when the perpetrator slams the woman against the wall to terrify her into submission. She swings her fists to defend herself and shatters the lone light bulb hanging from the ceiling. They are thrust into total darkness. The thug can no longer see or feel his anger or his lust. He stops. Her voice is now teacher, not victim, not mouse. Why do you do this? I happen to be a mother, a daughter, a wife, a friend. The bile he's tasted all his life since he witnessed the first beatings of his mother, received. The total darkness quiets the voices in his head. The violent movies fade to black. Like the protagonist in Les Miserables, the kindness of the priest saying the stolen candelabra for gifts transforms the thief. The darkness speaks as holy water. A prayer in the darkness is a gift, a petition, a gratitude, a wish, a mood, a mystery, a heart. We can all make this happen. Even me, even you.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. Good night.
Thank you.
This one's not good, right? Okay. Next time we'll back here.
So you can see I'm still editing the top on the bottom, but you can keep